1. Ahoy.
Ahoy.
Oh.
We're that kind of evening.
we're that now.
Sophisticated.
Okay. Are we going for that?
Possibly. How are you?
I'm good. May gabi or
May gabi.
no? May gabi ba?
Yeah.
Should we
May
greet may
kadlawon?
gabi? Because this podcast usually goes out on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So shall we greet the
Shall
people?
we just greet pretend?
Good morning.
Oh. Oras tak na alas 12 kadlawon. We're thankful for those people who notice na, it's every weekend we regularly
True.
churn, and
Yeah.
they've noticed it. That's why they keep tuning in. So thank you sa inyo tanan. Tanan mga kabatch, mga kagayanons, for listening in and watching our videos or listening to our podcast. So welcome to the
couple
show.
of specific shout outs I'd like to give out. Okay. Number 1 to Brian Montaza, who gave us a very detailed
Yeah,
and a long ass feedback.
which we don't respect. We're probably not gonna follow.
That was
Anyway.
really awesome.
We
Salamat,
break
Bray.
rules. So yeah. But
Salamat for the
thank you, Bray.
feedback.
Really great feedback. Useful. Yeah.
Thanks also to Mr. Gussie Santa Cruz
Yes.
for clarifying that it was not butterfly,
No.
but it
There's another creature.
It was dragonfly shoes.
Dragonfly shoes.
That is why.
That was all the flame during that time. All the rage.
Yeah, all the rage. That is why we couldn't find shit during the episode.
Puro mga pambabae, pambata ang mga sapatos na nakita. So,
Yeah. So
sorry sa pataka. As usual, just being my usual self. So
yeah, and
Captain Pataka,
again,
here
thanks to Kai for
Kai, yeah.
sharing it to the Corpus Christi group again.
yeah.
To Ivor as well, who
Show Ivor.
sure.
Yeah. Pinatilap sa baka ang imong book before, but yeah, we totally dig that.
Matod pa ni Tongki ug ni Ivor pel na pel.
Pel na pel. With the kanang wallet with side chain ng bayan. Mo tay trademark nga look na pina standard nga lakaw,
Yeah.
pina Ivor, the Ivor walk.
Man, the amount of gel.
Yeah. The gallons.
I mean, I was guilty of that as well.
Grabe.
Back in the day.
Pero loyalty kog splash.
Oh,
Kato.
splash kay Brato Roman.
Yellow or puti?
Yellow daw.
Honest, yellow. Solid, di ba? Ayun pala,
Gahi kigaw.
solid hold.
Solid hold.
Dito sa solid hold. Nga manimaho sa
Pero-
kapaguman.
Pero Lloyd, ako'y kaila.
Nansay. Blind item.
Wala ko'y kaila.
Kaila,
Ang style niya, mag-gel. Tuwa-tunga sa adlaw, high school Tuwa-tuwa sa adlaw, bungkagon
Let
niya.
me guess. Gel, buntag.
Oo.
Pagkahapon.
Pagkahapon,
Tungaon.
tugaon.
Bungkagon.
Bungkagon kay straight man kayo mong buka na. Alam na this.
Whoever you are,
Yeah, God bless
there are
you.
just some things you can't change. Can't mess with your DNA.
It's funny that you easily caught up with who this person is.
Yeah, I mean, totally. I mean, probably did see him do that. One of those instances to
Yeah,
CR.
right?
Yeah.
It was a smart move though. Kay,
Trailblazing. Pwede pang salon.
Jesus, we're like
We're into that.
less than 5 minutes of the show and we're
We're
throwing out blind
flamethrowers. Yeah. Kung kang ano pa, kang giyan pa, good morning sa lahat except kay blank.
except kay Blank.
Oh, yes.
Man, interesting. Yeah, what's up with you this week, by the way?
Well, it's just everything else leading to episode 8.
It's all about the podcast during the week.
You were trying to catch me over the weekend. I was like, sure, we tried to do this yesterday, but bro, I can't. Gotta keep.
Yeah, gotta pay
keep
the bills,
time.
man.
Gotta, time-based people. We can't
Yeah.
teleport, so
Yeah, it's fine.
yeah, that's great. No, we're here. So this
Yeah.
week just flew. Tomorrow's Thursday. Obviously, that's
Sure.
last day of the work week for us
Yeah,
golf
golf employees.
employees. Yeah,
I'm trying to recall what happened this week.
pretty much eventful for you, I guess.
No, not really. I mean, back to work.
Tell about.
Back to work.
Back to work.
From a week of break from
Yeah.
from last week. So and work is starting to pile up before the end of the year. You know how it goes.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm scrambling, and I can't wait. I hope my manager comes back from her maternity leave, so
She got 45.
she can take over again, and I'll be back on
Normal programming.
non-leadership duties.
Yikes.
The last couple months has been challenging, really.
That's a cute euphemism for saying blind pass, delegate some of the roles.
Man. I mean,
but man, you take what you get what you want to take.
True.
Right?
I'm thankful for the opportunity of stepping up for her. But then being, having to lead a small team and being the head of a certain domain at the same time be very operational is a tough job to be in.
I can imagine.
So as much as possible, as I'm still young in the company, as much as possible, I'd like to develop the skills of being operational before I can, officially lead a team.
Yeah.
But I was thrown into the situation because of her leaving. But she has to. She's family first.
She's
definitely.
leaving because she's gonna, she's gonna deliver a baby soon. So I guess that's pretty valid.
What else? Oh yeah. So before the podcast, we saw a very interesting podcast.
Yeah.
With Mr. Paco Arispacochada, a very tricky name.
Arispacochaga.
Yeah. Is it Chaga or Chada?
Yeah. Paco Arispacochaga.
Chaga, right?
Yeah.
So for all the kids
Voice.
out there, he's one of the band members of Intro Voice.
Singing drummer. He's a singing drummer.
Yeah, and he's basically Intro Voice was one of the bigger bands back in the 90s.
Well-known 90s band.
90s and 80s. Were they 80s?
Hitmakers. Late, middle 90s.
Middle 90s.
Back in the day.
And he was interviewing the one and only Martin Navarro.
Wow.
Was interesting.
Concert king.
Yeah. He's really good at storytelling, by the way.
Legitimately smart and brutally honest, self-deprecating.
Yeah, to everyone who's an OPM fan, I'd highly recommend that episode with Paco. And Martin. That was really a fun episode, and Martin goes into the history of late 80s, middle 90s music, where him and Mr. Gary Valenciano were
you were one and one. They were interchangeable.
Yeah. So they were at the opposite ends of the industry and the music market, and then there were a couple of individuals in between.
Yeah.
With the likes of
Keanu
and Randy Santiago,
Gino Padilla,
and
Kino.
Kino, right?
Kino, yeah.
Yeah.
I know these folks that would sing.
That's an interesting story. And man, the careers of those guys. Jesus.
About Pops.
And
Come on, Martin.
Pops,
Come
man.
on now. Pops.
Yeah. If you've seen Pops today,
Pops is.
she's plenty beautiful.
Yes. Oh, she's Pops.
She's hot.
If you call a friend Pops, then it's she's got it going. Hey, Pops.
Yeah. Cool. So what are we talking about this week? So I think you raised an interesting topic.
I did.
And this was even you listed this topic quite some time ago.
Some time ago, yeah.
Like
just
a month ago, I think.
We were brainstorming and trying to figure out timelines, but this came out. Yeah. Agreed.
And it's an interesting connection to the previous episodes, because the last two episodes we were discussing about the batch bingo, which we describe certain people of when we talk about certain attributes or descriptions of them, and then we talked about the crushes and bullying. On episode 7, which was which had
quite a hit.
Which had great engagement. Now we move into the different cliques. Yep.
With a Q.
Yes. So according to Wikipedia, cliques are a group of people between, what was it, 2 and 12 or more than 2? It describes something.
That's pretty accurate. 2 or about 12.
Yeah.
Yes, about a dozen.
It was Yeah, the one thing that surprised me was when I looked into the definition, it was very specific as 12. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it would have been better if it said more than 2.
You can't be an odd number because when you try to, right? When you group yourself into 12.
Yeah. So another characteristic of a clique is that it stands out from the crowd, and you have similar interests. You act almost in the same manner, and
you segregate. You segregate. This is the way you stand out. You segregate somewhere. You congregate in a certain venue,
and you just have a distinct, as a group. You have a distinctive attribute or characteristic. Correct. And it's interesting because we've seen almost all of these cliques, and I think across generations. I mean, even up to now, despite the pandemic, I think these cliques exist.
I see it. Yeah,
it might be in a different form. It might be in a different structure of group of people, but I think it exists.
They exist. Yeah, we can describe them. We can go for the traditional ones. I mean, we did bring up some of the stereotypes that would be all-encompassing. Then we could go ahead and describe which ones we saw ourselves, way back in high school.
Yeah. All right. So you've listed down quite a few.
Yeah.
And we'll describe, or probably we'll go through and probably pick some memories.
Pick some, yeah. We'll describe. I'm a prolific lister, so
you are.
Go for it.
All right. Click number 1. The honor students.
Oh, these pathetic creatures.
The brainiacs. Would you
mental hentai.
To me, what the fuck?
Those kids that always study all the time. They're passionate about
mental hentai.
Yes.
Why would hentai be? It would have been. Would it have been better if you describe it as are the mental samurais? Maybe.
Nope. As
cheesy as that sounds.
Just sounds just about right.
Mental hentai
describes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Fucking loved it.
Yeah.
So
we were kids back then. So.
Are there layers to these cliques? Are there, different subgroups across honor students?
Yes.
All right. Can you describe them to me?
They're the real honor students.
Real honor students?
And they're posers.
How about,
and then there's the sus. There's the ones that...
The sus?
Imposters.
All right.
Yes. You'd recognize them there because at the back row, just looking at people and observing.
But still, they're still honor students. Yeah. I'm more interested in the smart ones, the real smart ones, versus the bookies.
Yeah, the bookish ones are pretty much the smart ones, and there are smart ones that don't necessarily read the books. They're like genuinely just really smart and cool while they're doing it.
Our parents call them the street smart ones. Yeah. I never really got that.
My wife keeps telling me, "Di maka street smart." Yeah, no, for sure.
For sure.
Hell yeah.
You were one of the honor students.
Yeah. Well,
you were an honor student across the years.
Except grade 2 when I was in grade 2 Santol.
Were you really in Santol?
I probably have the lowest score in math when I was in grade 1, and therefore I did not have an honor at I wasn't in the medals in grade 1. My math was 55.
Jesus.
How do you do 55?
Yeah. Who has 55?
I probably had
math?
2 + 2 = 22. Probably it was. I really failed horribly and did very bad with subtraction. I think I did it intentionally. I don't know. Just so going back, only until only that year, which I went in the general section, and forever humbled by that experience. It was so great being just there because all these kids and.
So, what are the characteristics of honor students?
They're pretty much they're normal. They're pretty normal. They're pretty normal people.
No, dude. I mean, come on.
Pretty normal. There are society expectations as to what you are expected to do.
Well, true. I mean, being normal is pretty subjective to
I
individual
did belong
standards.
in that aquarium for quite some time. Across high school, I was in section R for first, second, third, fourth year, and accidentally got and stumbled into S for 1 quarter because I didn't meet the threshold for a certain subject.
Yeah.
And because I was too boring and too stupid probably to not achieve, they kicked me back into where I probably did belong. So I went back to R. So I can describe, I guess, the honors section in like honors class in like 3 groups. There's the really quiet ones that stay in their lane and they study hard and they're results oriented and they do the job. They just they win the finals. They're the Kawhi Leonards. They're quiet and they just make things happen.
The looking back, when I was still in high school, I never understood the win at all costs attitude of the honor students.
Of the honor students.
And I always wondered to myself, like, what is the price really of academic excellence and academic achievements?
A lot. I can tell you, just on a serious note. Now I'm serious. No, my psychopath, sociopath character has kicked in. People in the class, majority of them, probably, if we were a class of 35 or 36, about 30 of those folks are under scholarship. So they have maintained that, that threshold of like really high grades for a very long time, that it's a must. You have to absolutely nail it every single quarter, or else you risk of losing scholarship.
So I understand
tenure.
that.
That's one.
Yeah. So I understand that. And again, there are layers to it, right?
Yes.
Because there are these individuals who have scholarships and who have to maintain those scholarships.
Yes.
I get that 100%. There are those quiet ones who, whether they study or not, they ace exams. And that's how, they're just fucking smart.
Yeah.
There are also those who, again, the win at all cost types, who are really competitive in nature.
Mamba mentality kind of people. Yeah, these are the ones. Win at all costs is the correct term.
Right?
Yes.
And then you have the bottom of the food chain, even though they're still in the honor students, but they're the bottom of the food chain, I would say.
Why are you looking at me like that, man?
No, I'm just being honest here.
Just being brutally honest.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm just being honest here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so back to my point. I never understood that, but I came to realize how would I describe this? I came to realize how important that skill is to be really competitive academically.
Yes.
And I'll give you one example.
It is.
I've never been competitive academically up until now when I'm in my master's.
When you're now in your 20s?
No, in my fucking late 30s.
But you kind of look like you're in your late 20s, so shut up.
So I'm studying now for business school in University of Bradford, and so apparently the high scores for masters is around 85 and up.
Yeah.
So no matter how much grade you receive above 85, still, you're in the upper.
Yeah, you're in the upper.
And then the lowest would be 40.
Yeah.
And then the middle, I think the middle percentile will be around 65.
Yikes.
And I got a 76 on one, and then I got close to 80. And I felt, I can't describe how I felt. I
felt what?
I didn't feel that I have achieved enough. And ever since I got that grade, I was like, man, I gotta get 80 or 85 on the next one. And then I think back, and then I realized, okay, so this is how they felt before.
Dude, I'll tell you how
the competitive ones.
I'll tell you how I felt. This is you now at the University of Bradford during your masters. I remember the time when we were in grade school.
Yeah.
Forget high school, grade school.
Yeah.
Where the pressure was high in terms of like your clout when you have to be an honors student and you have to maintain it.
You're exactly right. Sorry to interrupt you there, but your grades were your clout back then, right?
Those were you,
Right.
you had nothing.
I mean, one of the factors for your clout is really your grades.
You're a kid. You sipunun ka. You probably would be lousy at sports. You probably look ugly. You just probably a little bit okay, cute. You sweat a lot, and you're white, and you're pretty nobody. So your only clout would be your grades.
Pero kung Jemmy K ka, unya bright pagig ka.
Tanan. Paksit. So I want to continue with this,
Sorry,
this
go
story.
ahead.
So
Go ahead.
the fear in March, or was it in late February, when you have to walk in one of those days, one Saturday that you would walk in the hallway, and the teachers would finally roll out the list of honors.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Walk of death. You would try to find your name, and my mental test would be, I should find my name somewhere between the Roa cousins.
Yeah.
I have to find my name just below Christine Roa.
Christine Roa. Yeah.
And Julie Ann Roa.
Okay.
I have to find my name there because that's the actual order. And if I don't find myself in first, and if I get a silver or a second or a bronze, worse, don't bother coming. It's the feeling of really being embarrassed.
No.
That's just how I felt.
Okay, so follow-up question to that. Is that pressure from the parents to excel, or were you at that age, is that the competitive mode within yourself?
It was purely expectations. Familial, parents, teachers, classmates. It was just not for myself. I mean, I'm not saying I'm self-aware, but I was precocious. I would do and think of things before when I was in grade school that probably I'm still thinking now.
Now, another follow-up question to that. If the pressure was gone, all right? If you didn't have pressure back then, would you still have been happy if you, let's say, got a bronze medal instead of a gold?
Well, that was my concept of achievement, was a gold. Silver was just being second, and bronze was like a consolation prize. I'm not trying to say that you don't achieve anything. I mean, I had colleagues that had silver and had bronze, and they totally earned it. Like, they really studied hard.
Yeah.
But it's not gold standard for nothing. It's you have the usual suspects, like you have April Anoy Ang, you have Christina Cac, the Samekihanos, you had the Patrick Ojimars, the Villarazo. Jocelyn Villarazo was an easy catch because she's the letter V. She's usually going to be at the very end, so from a distance she'll see her name. Villaraza, Jocelyn, Stephen, Matthew. Okay. There you go. Let's bring it home.
Bring home the cake,
dude,
baby.
I have a very long ass name. So I would know if I'm there or not. I really, true story. I'd check if Julie and Christine's name are there. Ting ting. If I'm not there, don't even bother looking. I mean, my eyesight is pretty perfect. It's just I feel so scared.
Dude,
walking from the front.
I can never imagine the pressure because
shit my pants.
For me, it's it's interesting to look back and from different perspectives, because for me, graduating with and I siguro nakatulong man siguro ko na, and I always had third honors. To look at third honors in grade school, and I was happy with that. I mean, it's not ecstatically happy, but still happy. Nakaingon lang ko ginana ba.
I didn't see you much in the because morning, and when you get an honor, it's morning and afternoon altogether.
Yeah.
I mean, I do know your name because you have a weird ass name. You're like Dave Erickson, like a foreigner's name. What's this guy? But you had a really clean rep of always being at the honor roll. Also, this was there.
Is that different honor roll? So,
this is first honors, second honors, and third honors. This is honor roll.
Yeah,
this is this manila paper that they would write the names, right?
Yeah.
So you would know when they've messed it up when you cannot find the names of the usual suspects, because usually when you are in the honors class, and back then, scholarships were a big deal. I mean, really, just
true. I agree with that.
I went through grade school on a full scholarship. I mean, just I'm happy, except the fact that when I flunked in grade 1, and my parents, both of them, my dad included, God bless him, they went to school and I went to that math teacher and just really, spoke to her and told her, why would you give 55 to this young angel-looking kid?
I cannot imagine how much pressure you guys went through.
It's a lot.
For the sake of getting a medal.
Hardware. For the sake of hardware.
Getting a medal in grade school. I mean, even more so in high school. Because to me, in high school meant that you should, ang ako mentality is you should have a good time. You should have, great relationships and build the foundation of your long-term friendships. But then if you still, on top of that, if you still have the pressure of just, performing academically, it was like, fuck.
Can I tell you something? I'm so happy you brought that up because that's in high school when you felt like, okay, now I can, release the pedals a little bit and relax. Grade school, I was at the peak. I was at the peak of my powers.
Yep.
When I say peak of my powers, grade 6, March 25, 1996. I can't remember. I can't forget that date. Or was it 1997? Salutatorian. Okay. I shared it with somebody else, but I didn't care. I was salutatorian. It was all that matters. Speech. Said a speech. Went to the stage like 20,000 times. I went to the stage 6 or 7 times for awards.
You must have been fucking proud.
I was so proud. My parents were embarrassed. they even took turns. Rory, ikaw na said. They were being jeered. Like they were really nothing. They were not getting canceled, but they're being jeered. Oh, my Michael Roy na said. So I was like, I didn't appreciate that until now when you have bills to pay. When you've got, when you've got, plans for a good future, when you want to improve yourself in your work and in your life as a whole, then you start regretting the what ifs of like certain missteps in your life that I should not have done. That's such a bonehead move. And then you look back in grade 6 and says, that's the boy I want to be again. And it took a lot. Obviously, that toll was, it's a lot because it was. I'm not the type of person who reminisce, but I'm cursed with a really good memory. So
it's interesting, kay Sako. It's the complete opposite. Like
complete opposite.
And in the sense that I've always told you in this podcast that I flew by grade school and high school as a mediocre student, but then as I grew and as I move on in life, especially there is a Dubai, I came to acquire skills that would have been useful in grade school and high school.
Man, they're useful now.
Like
it's all that matters.
Yeah, the prep, the studying,
the analysis,
the focus, the readings, the planning, and all that shit. But yeah, it's true. I'm happy I have them now. Okay, it's gamit makaya in my studies and at work. But it would have been nice if I had something of those back in the day.
It's really different on who's at that stage now. It's a utility belt. It's a Batman utility belt now. What you have, and you're building an arsenal of weapons.
Yeah,
which is really useful for real application. So which is
Yeah.
You know what felt good in grade school? And I'm very excited to tell you this for the first time because I just really want to get this off my chest. It was so satisfying in every elocution contest, in every declamation contest to beat the shit out of April Ann Uyang and Christine Joyakaak. They were the only two proper nemesis that I had. It was so satisfying winning over them and also satisfying losing. Because it was just them.
Yeah.
There was no, it was just like, this was even bad because who's joining this contest? And you would really you trash talk in your head like, oh, what's your piece? And you start scoping, what are they going to talk about or what kind of elocution? So, man, it's whack. You try to win some, you're sad when you lose some, but none of that matters now. Yeah. It's just all about what you take away from it, really.
That's true. All right, let's move on to click number 2.
We're going to piss off Brian.
This is taking longer than
Guys,
expected.
this is going to be a 4-hour podcast. Brace yourself.
All right. So, number 2 clique. It's the polar opposites of the quiet versus the loud ones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is a clique, though. It's
somewhere in between.
It's basically an individual characteristic.
Yeah.
If you're a loud one, you're a loud one. I don't see a group of loud ones.
Buloy? Buloy and Co?
I haven't seen... no, I wouldn't consider Buloy as a loud one. I would consider...
Well, she had a loud personality. I mean, I would say.
Yeah, she has a big personality. Can I
Huge,
say?
yeah. Larger than life, you know.
Yeah, I would say...
Personal experience. This is personal experience.
Yeah. I mean, her... Buloy and Cookie, I would say, are the social butterflies.
Dude, when your name is Buloy, you've got to live up to that.
That's
Buloy.
true.
Come on.
That's true. So they're
legendary.
So they're the social butterflies. The next clique is the friends with everyone.
The friends with everybody.
So they are the ones who belong to different cliques, and they're loved by everyone. And also, they genuinely love everyone as well.
They love the company of everybody, and they're social chameleons. They call it now.
Yeah,
you jump, social butterflies. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and
mga part choy, like
who would
qualify?
Who would qualify under these? So you have the Cookies, the Buloys, the Danmandaks.
Danmandak. Yeah? Yes, definitely Danmandak.
Kai, I think, would be part of this.
There was a time that James Ching was always in our classroom. I don't know why.
James Ching.
Einstein was, was pretty much in honors class, and he was like sports. He was sort of like everywhere too. I mean, in the school, outside the school.
I would always classify Undoy as
a prototypical Chinese guy.
No, no. I would group Einstein Undoy and under the jocks, even though
shout out to Undoy.
Yeah, shout out to Undoy.
Investigatory project, grade 6.
He's a smart
semi-champions.
Oh, he's a smart,
absolutely smart guy.
Yeah,
and really better businessman also. I mean, he's a really prolific businessman. What I've been told.
Yeah. So those are the
social chameleons. Social butterflies.
Chameleons, butterflies, whatever you call it.
Zebras.
All right. So the next one is an interesting. I'll leave the intriguing ones, intriguing ones later. All right, so the next one are the typical jocks / athletes / varsities. So,
why do they have to have this really weird walk?
Right? I was about to say that actually. There's a bounce to it, right?
It's like a reverse moonwalk from Michael Jackson. I guess it comes with the fact that you are a jock. You don't get labeled as a jock. You actually are a jock. You're a sportsman. You have a scholarship. You're in the school because you're a scholar ng bayan ni the late great Del Fierro. It comes with being an athlete, and it comes with a lot of perks, I would say.
Yeah, a lot of perks, and I would say they have a different pressure as well.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen them work really hard maintaining their grades as well as be the star athletes that they need to be.
I've tutored one. So I can relate to that. Yes, I've tutored one to help them with their grades.
I really admire in Osay kaibog ko sa ilang kabibog yapon when they play the sports that they're in, and they seem really close because I think just with any cliques out there, because they have different experiences. They have they have the same experiences and they have the same challenges that they're experiencing within high school life. And they look the basketball team was obviously it's mo magina murag the star athletes of the school, especially it differs from different school, but Corpus was a basketball school.
Yeah, it was. I was about to say. Yeah, we imported a lot of the really talented kids from other schools, and we brought them in through scholarships. So.
And the basketball rivalry between Corpus and Xavier was
Corpus and Angelicum.
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's. Correct, mate. Yeah.
So
that was there.
Yeah, interesting.
But they have most of them also, surprisingly, you can probably because of the social pressure of being out most of the time because of sports engagements, that I didn't really see them in some of the honors class also and whatnot. Probably there are some who are probably, honors class and are really good athletes, but in our batch, they were probably just probably so busy with sports and
lisod kaayo.
Yeah, lisod.
I mean, I was part of my life. I was a varsity player in swimming.
So nakasadjak, mabilong ka sa jock na.
Oh no, god damn it. Layo.
Yung jockstrap.
Jockstrap siguro.
Supporter ka, pre.
Dili na ko pel.
Supporter badge ka.
And so I would go from school modto ko og sports center para mag-train for intrams.
Oh, lagom kay kato nga time for sure.
And we would go to Iligan. We would
mga meet.
Sa mga meets and some other out of the city. It's tough, man.
So nakauban mo na ni Ding Darius Tabimina.
So nauna si Ding sa ako, and then I came in.
Mo magito ang the Russell Westbrook of
Ding was
100 meters freestyle.
I'll not forget.
Butterfly.
I'll not forget this experience kay so pag sugod ako swimming ki paapili ko competition sa akong coach among the beginners, because obviously I was beginner. And nalaros man ako tanan medal so ko kay magagmay sa ako. Ganun ki paapil mo. Obviously, mo third year lang, sir, or second year mo ka.
Later man, gi-protestaan.
Laros na kung... I'd remember this because I got 5 gold medals. Mga kontra na ako magagamay. Kaya amot sa akong coach, gano'ng ipapil ko anto.
Bro, poor man's Michael Thorpe.
Exactly.
Poor man's Michael Phelps. Yeah.
And I got 5 gold medals, 2 silver, I think, something.
Laros eh.
Laros. So ako coach, okay, dili na ba ka beginner? So obvious ba?
Ganun yapil ko ni mo.
Yapil mo ko ni mo ani. So that was a funny one, but the opportunity after that was really, that was one of the highlights of my swimming sport. Kay gipaapil din ko og training sa, I think it was a Philippine team that was supposed to compete in an Australian meet.
Nice.
So among them was si Paulo Tabimina.
Absolutely.
Magulang ni Ding. So it was Paulo Tabimina, Roy Rivera, and 2 more.
Yeah.
And man, they were like huge jocks and like proper swimmers.
Like proper swimmers.
And then ako din pinakaniwang who joined them.
Pero well medaled.
But damn,
multi-decorated
amongst
nagsutog medal ka swimming.
But that experience, man, and one of them among the 4 na I trained with on 2, I think there were 2 sessions I trained with them. One of them got a bronze medal sa Australian meet.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so they were like
legit.
They were legit, and I ganahan ko itong opportunity because I felt like at that age I felt like, wow, like
this is something
like,
you've
this
accomplished.
Is top of the line training that I could get.
Yeah.
And that was fun. But going back to being athlete at the same time studying lisod kayo. And I would understand their challenges and nganong lisod kay kung honor student ka, and I think if I'm not mistaken, in our older batches there were some star athletes who were also honor students.
Yeah. I guess silang sa hulga.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. But we a boy can dream. Obviously, when you were watching these athletes play, you thought in your mind that you could do the moves and you could do the same, but execution is a bummer. I mean, you just had to give yourself a chance to develop a good jumper, and that was all that mattered.
Yeah. So that's an interesting point to bring up, because in being athletes, when people say, you just have to work hard and
be disciplined
and then never give up on your passion, but truth to be told, in order to be a successful athlete, you really have to be either, the 1% of the population which you really have to have the physical gifts.
That's
to be
built to be successful.
To be successful.
Yes.
So you have to be physically gifted. At the same time, you have to have the work ethic. So you cannot have just one.
You must have both.
You must have both.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a couple of guys who are kanang dili kay tagas, may kimudulag basketball pero dili tagas, and who never made it to the leagues. And but we also saw the people who both have the work ethic and the physical gift,
and they made it. Yeah,
they made it. We saw a couple of guys who went to the PBA, the PBLs, and so that's also one of the factors that you have to know about yourself. Kung you've gotta when you know that you're probably going to be an athlete and you have those attributes, just know that from the beginning that you're going to be an athlete. There's no turning back, I guess. Yep.
What's next clique? Such interesting cliques to begin with. Are there more?
Yeah, there are more.
Okay.
The next clique, I don't know if nganong maabot magita ni the CNBs. This is the third episode we're mentioning the CNBs.
Jobo na
sad. But okay. So these are not cliques, actually.
I'm happy that you brought up CNBs or Crush ng Bayans because Lou Francis / Jobo na Kalaban never admitted nor denied that Crush ng Bayan siya.
That's the most critical part of the statement is he never denied it anyways.
He never admitted, but likewise he never denied it.
Yeah.
So it's an irreversible logic. So I guess it's up for the jury.
Yeah.
The decision is out there. I mean,
to me,
let us know. In your comments whether he was legitimately. And for me, he probably was. Yeah.
Jobo was the Michael Jordan of the CNBs. I will make the declaration.
You will make
right
the declaration.
Now.
He's not like the LeBron James of CNBs.
He
was not trying hard enough. He was mythical. Yeah.
Yeah, he was mythical.
Isa sa to siya sa pinatilap baka ang buhok sa mga time, no?
No. He had the Devon Sawa
katong shiny hair na murag.
Ubaya na nabuang mga girlalus.
Patrick Garcia pakog halas.
Wala pa ko kitag CNB nga niabot sa punto nga ang mga babae gipalinya outside of
guidance counselor.
Guidance counselor. Never saw a CNB who had that effect.
Siguro pag uli na sa balay no na ignon siya sa papa mga Job unsa naman sa ni Job. kinsa na sad ni.
Alright.
I saw also in one of the comments nga dako daw kay siya bill sa iyahang long distance.
Sa long distance.
7,000 pesos at that time.
Kinsa ka yung gitawagan nato no?
MTI man daw.
MTI.
Kinsa?
Kaila ka?
Kaila. Basta daghan mo siya. Basta anam-anam to.
Ato pa nang sasihan.
Let's say ang click is 2 or more up to 12. Kana. Up to 12 guro.
Ato pa nang sasihan.
Makita na. Makita ng katagron.
Yeah.
Di na ta mag-enumerate pero masusi na siya.
Yeah, the CNBs are not really cliques. These are just individuals
They're
who
out
are
there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the special specimens.
Eye candy. Mga eye candy na sila.
Yeah. Speaking of the CNBs that we haven't mentioned in the past episodes.
Shout out to.
So I'd like to mention a couple of CNBs. We have Venice Clarin, Rudy Ann.
Rudy Ann Lorias back then. Yes.
Yeah, back then. Melissa Noble. I think we mentioned Melissa Noble, right? Sa mga lalaki po, we have Mr. James Harrow.
Yeah. Michael Harrow, right?
Michael Harrow. No. James Maria Magulang. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sa Michael Harrow day.
Siya man ang mini-me.
Si Mikol. Mikol ba?
Michael.
Shout out Mikol. Michael. The Vernon Flores.
Yeah. Marco Calim. Yeah, Vernon Flores. Yeah, it was, Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Shout out to you guys. Yeah, so these are the
Namgako. Sila ni
I mentioned Namgako.
Yeah. Katong wala ni mo na mention there.
Ivor Alegrado was a CNB.
Yeah.
Back in the day. So, yeah. The eye candy specimens.
Mga silang, I don't know, si Carl Elizar was too. I mean, he...
Yeah.
He looked the part and he smelled good too. So,
Later gino kung humot ka, no?
lahat na dyan kay, you would know nga ni Agi si Carl like, that's si Carl naman sa niyo.
Man, I wish I could have afforded
Smelled them from 200 meters away. I mean, God.
I would have rocked the Caroline Herrera VIP 212.
Yeah. God. Or the smell, the eternal smell of Fahrenheit and Ralph Lauren Polo Sport.
I would have elevated my stock at least.
Yeah.
If not being a CNB.
Speaking of elevating your stock, that's going to be a great segue later. I mean, what's the question again before we end the cliques?
Yeah. Let's talk about that later. But let's continue on to the cliques. Kaya dagan pa mga interesting.
So CNBs and then we did cover
so
CNBs.
CNBs naturally would transition into the love teams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
magparis-paris na sila.
Magparis. Sila mismo pariparis.
CNB day ka?
Oh.
How was
that? So these are not cliques, but you see them.
You see they're out there.
Yeah. Right? Like there are the quiet couple. So this is interesting because, and I know you know these guys. So there are the popular couples. The popular couples. There are the odd mixes.
Like, right? How did that happen?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, like, what? How did this happen?
Come on now.
So the random mix or the odd couple.
Yeah.
Napoy ilang gitawag nga mga mismatch.
Yeah, kanang mismatch.
Yeah, mismatch.
Way out of your league.
Yeah.
Boy or girl. Yeah.
Yeah, the 9 versus the 3s or the whatever. And then there are the low profile, like the quiet ones.
These are the ones in my head. These are the catatonic ones. Like these are the ones that sit in the corner and they're like for hours on end.
Did we have
catatonic ones? No, we didn't have. Underclassmen.
Did we have couples who always fought each other? Sa una? Nabay mga away yun na to ng mga maguyab sa una? Wala ba, di ba?
I don't recall. Yeah. Na mag-away sa corridor, niya ka na dinampurnasay jud. I remember that. Sa mga girls.
Those are not couples.
Those are not couples.
I
definitely did not like each other. Sure.
Yeah.
But couples, no. There were the popular ones na nagkauyab jud and kani sila match kayo kana and people would socially agree na they should be together.
Yeah. Second to the last, we have the transferees. Again, these are not cliques.
These are not cliques, but they just stick out.
They stick out.
But you ano pag ina sila kanang guys, welcome to the new school year. Would like you to first of all, would like to welcome all transferees. And by the way, they're here.
Yeah, exactly.
Naipa-speech pagid sila. Oh my God.
Winnie was one of those people who was really interesting. And the reason I say that because nisabay mo siya. And I think Cookie and Company took her under their wings and,
I loved how she blushed. She was always red.
Yeah. Nagbinisaya ba to siya?
Gitudloan to siya.
Gitudloan naman to siya.
Hindi man mga binasos, but gitudloan to siya binisaya. She was so cool. I'm sure she definitely stuck out because she's very Caucasian.
The one guy I really missed na nagka-close me was Michael Gagno.
Michael Gagno.
Yeah, we were close back then.
Canadian boy.
Yep.
Same. When you crack a joke on him, he'd turn to a carrot. Like he'd just go blushing and such a
the girls loved him. Loved him kay kwali kanang butan kayo.
Okay, bumuton.
Who are the other? You mentioned wala ko kadumdum aning mga.
There were like James Bitoni brought his family rather. He was one of those basketball players that came from like transferees. So the other sisters, I think, or like a cousin, were in our batch. These were the tall ladies also, and one was an underclassman, like 40th to 30th.
Okay. Interesting.
So they would stick out also because they were foreigners. They I think were French or Italians, Bitones, yeah.
All right.
We had a lot of these, and they found their way eventually through other cliques. I mean, they're transferees, but they came out as athletes, or they were, they came to the honor section. So yeah.
All right. So this one is a proper clique.
What is this proper
so
clique?
These are the different club members.
Kay organized
Yes,
cliques man sila.
organized cliques.
Definitely one.
So the glee clubs, the dance troops, the artsies, and who are there? Maraming siguro ni sila. Ang common gig kayo.
Mga kanang mga nasa religious groups.
Were there religious groups?
The ones who hung out sa office ni Teacher Nene, or who hung out sa prayer room, or who hung out dito sa front sa corpus near the clock. I mean, see that batch there? When you see all of them, they would usually hang out there late. So, sila. Clique ni Teacher Nene.
So, one of the cliques na wala ni mo na lista dani are the... so there are two types. The popular ones and the mean girl ones. Did we have a popular group?
Like, did we have a Spice Girl of our popular group?
I mean, just a group of popular individuals. Did we have those? Wala man siguro, no?
There was a good, non-school regulated group called Pasawali. They were organized, I would say.
Yeah, I would say they were also popular individuals.
Popular individuals.
I would say. Yeah, so maybe Pasawali would be under this.
Sure,
the Mean Girls. I mean, obviously we don't have to mention them, but did we have a Mean Girls group? I think so.
Probably pretty mean girls. I mean, they kind of like... I always believe that you have to act according to your looks. So if you're pretty, you have...
Umarte ayon sa kagandahan.
Ayon sa kagandahan. So yeah, I give them that.
I'm trying to recall if there are. I mean, I know of pretty mean individuals or females, but...
You're so mean.
Yeah.
But I guess they're mean for a reason. It's just because you're not friends with them. So you don't engage or talk to them. So she looks suplada, so she's probably
suplada.
mean. So she's probably just suplada, or probably had a bad day.
Maybe.
I probably just want to take a dump. So it could be anything. It could be a gazillion reasons.
Yeah.
So those are really interesting cliques. But
one more. Sorry. Because these are interesting individuals as well. These are not cliques, but these are interesting individuals. The gossip girls. Or men.
Gossip girls.
Guys, if there are gossip guys. So
really?
These are the gossip anchors, or the gossip girls, or the gossip guys, if there are guys.
Of their batch? Do we have one?
Yes.
Yeah. We do have one.
Yeah. I know of someone.
Some loose lips. Yeah. For sure.
Not really loose lips, but I know of someone who...
sounded really awful.
Yeah, that sounded really awful. I know of someone who I can turn to for gossip, basically.
So you have a source.
It's not a source as much as...
Where was I in high school? I did not hang out with the cool... I know, but did not hang out with the right people. I mean, we were just, puro boys. So, like, you would never have the time. You were just either playing sec basketball or...
Like, it's not even... it's not even a matter of hanging out with these guys. It's just that they
come with a scoop?
They come with a scoop and they know what's what and who's who.
I think kay Lakuan sa sobrang katabian ka biskot.
Yeah.
Kay Lakuan for sure.
I mean, kabalo ko daghan sila. One of them is your classmate. Yeah.
Mubo ning dila.
I don't have to go further than that description.
Okay, fine.
I mean, it's not a bad thing though. It's just that this person will always have the scoop.
Yeah.
No matter, what time of the day or what day of the week.
Very good. Good for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I mentioned it.
Okay, she. It's gotta be a she.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, at one time she was like, hala uya ba ni ko ano? I was like,
what?
And katong so first of all, wala mi naguyab ato nga person. But we were close.
Nasa niyang mga rebuttal.
Oh, yeah.
Wala mo nag-uyab.
Pero kami nag-uyab, pero we were close.
Yung totoo.
Yung totoo nga.
Wala gyud mo.
Wala
Hindi lang nangyari talaga. Walang ugnayan. Okay, sige.
Wala po, Tito Boy.
Okay.
And
dadawatin ko yan.
Sige. And I wouldn't say I would call it a relationship kay basically ga tinawagan man mi, ga text man mi. And I kept this really low key.
This is so MU.
Yeah, you could say
Miss
that.
MU.
Yeah, you could say that. We kept this really low key, but then but yeah, I was like, what the fuck? How did you? How many mo nasagap nga balita?
Party phone. I think sa party phone.
I was like, man,
Grabe gid kayo kachismosa.
grabe gid nga antena.
God damn it.
Maybe I'm trying to understand now because it's such an interesting character, Gapon.
It is.
For you, and remember back in the day, when there is smoke, a part of that smoke gets attached to your clout,
Yeah.
right?
Kana nga smoke nimo. That
kana nga smoke
it goes
nimo.
to your reputation. Yeah.
Right? And
Right.
if you have let's say if you have white smoke, your reputation increases, and basically your clout increases. If you have black smoke, then
Same. Yeah,
Same.
It's pretty much the same. Yeah.
So yeah, I was really surprised. Like mas dagan pa to siyang naibalan kaysa sa ako, but
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is. So questions now.
I think you missed the click sa mga mamirahay.
Oh no. Sorry.
Pwede. Nga wala yung mamirahay sa atong batch.
Yeah.
Bay, nagi na yung mga mamirahay.
Can we assign a more sophisticated name since we are supposed to be in a sophisticated podcast and discussion?
Okay. So the term is not mamirahay.
Yeah,
So I would say situationally aggressive people.
the KKKs. BLMs.
Mga DDS.
Mga DDS.
No, look, man. Come on. Look, they probably just, they exist, and you know what? You could be on the other side of it, na mabirahan ka,
Yeah.
or you could be like really tight. I mean, it's just
Sure.
it is what it is. It is what it is. Hate to be on the other side of a punch, but you like to be on the on their good side too, because it really does help. Especially kung galakaw ka pa dong makasandig, kilid Clementino Chavez. So
Yeah. I mean, I've at least atong batch,
dapat na kay 5 diha kay
I've
parang
never had any problems with what do you call them?
mamirahay. It's just the right term. It's just
Man, we need lain lagi paminahan mamirahay because the reason I say that, and the reason
socially okay.
the reason that I don't want to call
Really tense people.
I don't want to call them mamirahay because I know that the reason they act in such a way is because they have challenges in some parts of their personal lives, whether that be from, let's say, parents, families, or whatever that is. It just so happens that the energy that they have to let out is through physical violence or whatever violence that might be.
Sige, fine. Mangulyuhay.
Still.
See?
All right. So, but it's interesting because these are cliques.
Yeah. They're
These
cliques.
group are a clique.
There's actually an organization for mamirays.
Exactly.
Uy, mamirahay mga no? Tuyo ka na mo, Bart.
And
They do.
yeah.
Look, it's a common goal. It's common energy. Energy attracts energy. Like
Yeah, and
energy attracts like
it's the same as with athletes nga, Amrag, because they found people who have the same experiences, the same challenges they have.
then you're gonna bond
And
over things.
you have the bond because these are the only people who can understand you.
What's sa kailang mga conversations? Ano? Bay, kasi na birahan today. Wala gani, bay. Atutag savior na.
Dude, that's
That's the life, man. I mean, I wasn't there, but
come
like
on,
the
man.
conversations.
That sounds so ignorant of us if we frame it that way.
It's just me. Just really being ignorant. Not probably on the other side of the punch. Maybe just
Yeah, I mean, let's not bully the bullies. Basically,
no, it's not. It's the fun. It's the fun of having in retrospect. They had that clout or that clique, not because of what we thought of them. Cliques are built on your impression.
Yeah,
but that was built on action. Like athletes, that was built on what they actually did. the smoke that you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're 100% right, because again, going back to the Wikipedia, not only Wikipedia, but the definition of a clique is that you're a group of people who have a specific characteristic, who act in a certain way and believe in whatever beliefs that you have in common. And the reason that you clique, quote unquote, is because you share, the same interests, probably the same experiences, and
Correct.
most often than not, the same challenges, and you bond over these situations and experiences because they are the only ones who understand you.
Correct.
And therefore you act in a certain way, and you stand out from the general public. And by the way, I also read somewhere in description of cliques is that they also consider the normals or the normies are cliques, basically.
The
normies. And how they describe the normies is that they are often invisible. They do not stand out.
Wallflowers.
Yeah. And I would consider to be one of them, actually. So
you know what would probably make you stand out? I guess sikat ka siguro kay ka if you were like back in the day, kung crush ng bayan ka.
Plus, the CNBs would be really popular.
Not only that, crush ng bayan ka, niya honors class pa jud ka.
Yep.
Niya athlete pa jud ka.
Yeah.
Na mamirahay.
Grabe na ginano.
Kana yun.
All the clout you need.
You're gonna be covered with like as in grabbing a smoke.
What? Imagine si Jobo. Si NB.
Nga athlete. Oh, basket besad to.
Kung basket po siya. Din, napod siya sa honors class.
Pwede. Ano, classmate mo niya to sa'yo sa grade 2.
Kung nasa gibirahan mo.
So, look, we're not trying to teach you wrong things here, but if you fit that criteria back in the day, if you could roll it back, that would be like the killer combo of your profile.
Now, here are the interesting questions.
Go for it.
Number 1, what do you do if you're not on any of these cliques? Will you survive? Will you thrive? Will you live a normal high school life?
You'd probably be at home most of the time because you're not in a clique. I mean, it's situational. If you're not forced into a clique, like you're not into an org or a group, like for example, clique club, or you're not an athlete, you're gonna cope. You're probably doing something else. You're probably busy with something else.
Another sub question to that is, if you do not belong to any cliques, would you automatically be under the normies?
Not really. Sometimes you'd probably be even a reject. You're probably going to be an outcast, I would say, social outcast, because you don't fit you're not even a normie. You're probably just...
That's a very interesting point, because the social outcasts are actually a clique.
They're there. Yeah. They're a clique. They're everywhere too, like the crush ng bayans, but they don't bond together because they're outcasts. They're just, you know that they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Another... go ahead.
Go for it. Go for that question.
Another interesting question which he brought up earlier is, what is the price of admission? Right?
It's gonna be a lot, depending on your clique.
So I read somewhere, I think it was a parenting website, because I was trying to do a bit of research into the cliques, and this I never knew that this is such a big topic today, or maybe it is because of how fragile the current generation is right now, and therefore, the teachers, the guardians, and the parents have this continuous discussion how should they guide their children and navigate high school life amidst all of these cliques, and questions like, okay, if you do not belong to a clique, what should you do? Or if you belong to a clique, but then you don't agree with the actions, what should you do? These are really interesting ones.
Valid questions.
Yeah, valid questions, because but also a counter argument to this is that do these questions really help us back then? Would they help us? Because to me, it would take out the mystery or the
novelty, I would say.
Yes,
I know, like the mystique of that type of like being in a clique.
Or I think I've thought of the perfect way to say it. So it would take out the fun and the challenge of trying to figure out what high school life is for you.
Yeah, you don't even navigate through. You just walk through it. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And then you figure out along the way that, okay, I shouldn't be with this clique because I don't agree with what they're doing. I should probably avoid the mamirays because if I get picked on, it'll be an unpleasant experience.
You'll be short strap of cash and you'll probably get hurt. Yes.
I'll probably make friends with these smarties because one way or another, I may need their help in the future. And I'll probably... be close with the social butterflies because they're really fun to be with. So things like that.
Right? Even funny Denzel Washington, he said in one of this like commencement speeches, you hang around too long in a barber shop, you hang around too much and too long in a barber shop, you're eventually going to end up having a haircut.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it's you don't get a chance to navigate through high school. No one got a map. Did you get a map in high school?
No, no.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those jungles where you have fun. You should definitely have fun along the way.
Yeah.
While you chop through the woods of insecurities and
try to walk through the mud, uncertainties, the puddles, and through the rain. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that analogy. Through the woods, chopping through the woods.
Yeah, it's chopping through the woods because it's. And I love the analogy jungle because there are no same days in high school.
There are no same days.
If
There's
you
no
remember,
typical Monday.
There's no typical Monday.
I cannot recall. I cannot unlike now when most of our lives are patterned. Like,
true.
Really
Routines.
patterned. Routine. Without us even knowing. But back in high school, every day was so random.
Yeah. There thankfully in my experience, there are a lot of days where I'm excited to go to school. Because not because of school, by the way, but because of meeting up with friends and what you're up to on those particular days. And there are also a few times where it sucks to come into school and deal with all the bullshit that you have to deal with, basically.
Yeah. Do you remember a particular day, or can you pick out one day in high school that you would never forget?
A lot.
I had one specific day.
All right. Tell me about it.
Okay. So this is, I guess, a short story. This was the day, and this is a shared moment in time. This was the day when we were required 3 projects at the same day. This was the deadline for the thesis.
Yeah.
The Sulating Pangwakas of Filipino.
Mm-hmm.
And then one, I think, science project. This was the day that you were supposed to pass to Sir Ralph your papers.
Okay.
Like the final papers. So I ended up doing, like my usual self, of course, doing everything. And after all that procrastinating, did it in the week when it was required. So I had a really rough day, and McCoy's printer was so slow. And I was typing through WordStar, going through English and Tagalog and stuff. And after finishing at around 4 in the afternoon, because you have to finish your project, whether you like it or like it a lot, you've got to have that project in or else you're going to fail.
Yeah.
So I ended up finishing everything, ended up passing all the subjects, and I totally forgot my project sa Motorella.
What
ang akong English project na may pinaka-importante, hapit wala napasa sa box ni Sir Ralph na ibilin mo dito sa
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. If it wasn't in his faculty.
How did you get it back?
Nibalik ang rela. Kikita mo siya nga na akong pula nga folder dito nga kanang plastic folder nga see-through. Balik siya. Siya nga, dong imong ana.
Manong driver for the MVP?
MVP. Kasama Choi for the MVP. Emmanuel Sena for the
MVP.
win. Yeah. my God, the energy that I had that day, and probably the really good sleep I had the day after that.
I the gangi ko fun memories high school. I mean, I would say foundation day ba na? Kanang bibo.
Mga usually bibo.
For some reason, the gangi may tabo sa ako on foundation day.
Freaky foundation day? Ano gonna happen? Dili ka Freaky Friday?
Huh? The gangi, I mean, even full case out. And it's funny because mo to foundation day, because obviously we're excited because
dress down
and we don't crash. We don't do anything, and then we just hang out, and then basically we're just going to school just to banter,
just to have fun. Weekdays, weekend is at the end.
Yeah. So you, or at least for me personally, I would go there without any expectation except just to hang out. And then things would happen. Makauyab ka. All of a sudden, birahon ka for marriage booth.
Makauyab ka. Kana. That's good.
Makita ka magbulag.
Kita kang naay magbulag. Nagin na.
Naay mag-away, naay magsinubagay.
Naay mabirahan sa CR. Mamirahay activate. May activate ang Winter Soldier kalit.
Mabibo ang eskwelahan kay mag-basketball.
Bay na nangatang sa gawas ng mga taga other schools.
Other schools. It's that event, that kana nga season is so eventful. And those are, if I travel back in time, if I have the DeLorean again, I'd say, okay, atuan na to. ang upat ka foundation days sa high school. Let's look for my younger self, and I'll just sit on the sidelines and watch what happens again.
And probably kataw anime mo old self.
Yeah.
God, I guess the foundation days were just what they were. They were just a sort of a time waster just to relieve you out of all the schoolwork. It was fun though. All right. So another thing that we can end on is I never won the bingo though. Any of those prizes of bingo? Either the refrigerator or the television. Did we have bingo every year? Every year. Did we? At the end, before the Miss Corpus Christi, or before. I mean, this tall guy would say, B12. He would call out the every damn year. Yeah. This big guy up in heaven, he would always keep saying. Yeah, that's true. Come on. Man, I can hear his voice actually. Kalaban sa Beatles, Bee Gees. Oh, wow. Cool guy. What were the prices back then? Were there appliances? TV. Oh. Ba? Ano? TV. Bugas, refrigerator, sako. What? Why am I not surprised? A huge 4x4 cross-stitch collection by Ameta Taguchi. Man, the cross stitch. Don't get me started on the cross stitch. I won't get you started. That's a topic for another day. That's gonna be another podcast. The weird. All right, so let's end with something interesting. Okay. Or at least interesting for me. Brian, mo end na mi ah. Brian, Sabuka. All right, so let's take Baby B as our lab rat. Okay. So Baby B comes of an age. Mm-hmm. He's entering high school. Okay. 13? Like 12? Let's say 12. Let's say second year high school. Okay. First year high school magkadapa pa. And we take turns in giving him advice, and he goes, Tito Mike, Samchun, how do I increase my clout, or how do I increase my stock in high school? He doesn't want to be popular, but he wants to be well balanced and at least have enough clout for him to enjoy high school, basically. And preferably, I know for a fact that as well as any high school boy would go, and he would say, Tito Mike Samchun, I'd like to be in a stage where
I'd also be somehow, what's my term na, attractive enough to have a girlfriend towards, let's say, in my later high school or early high school. So what advice can you give me to navigate? So I think it's an all-in-one.
I'll let him navigate, but let's what are some of the tips and tricks?
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
If there's a way we could give Baby B a cheat code.
So let's put a constraint on the cheat codes. The cheat codes should
realistic cheat codes.
Yeah, realistic cheat codes that would achieve a few goals. One goal is magka-girlfriend siya, that he would be attractive enough to have a girlfriend. And ikadua is to basically survive high school life and even enjoy it, and be happy with his experience.
Look, it depends. Who, Baby B, who is he gunning for? The most popular girl in school, or just wants to have just a normal relationship with just a normal girl?
Oh, interesting. Okay, tell me more.
There are layers to it. I mean, if I was gonna tell the way I see it right now, I'm gonna tell my younger self, advice and relating it to Baby B.
Yeah, let's advise Baby B.
I'm not gonna give him any advice. I'll probably impose and direct.
Interesting.
You'll have to how to say manufacture. You have to manufacture his persona, because the whole smoke is you don't really have to be guapo or attractive.
100% agree.
To score the prettiest girl in school. You don't have
100% agree.
There's just some unique maneuvering and you're known for something that's gonna rapidly increase your stock over time.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to say, but it's a bit of manipulation. If you're able to manipulate outcomes for yourself. Yeah.
Can you give an example though?
First one I'd change is, I guess, I try not, look, I'm sorry if I'm going to step on a lot of toes here, but I'm not going to try to impress anybody and try to fit in on what is fashionable during that time. 100%.
So in other words, be yourself?
Be as simple and nondescript. Wear a nice clean shirt. Be good smelling enough not to cloy people and make you smell like a whole tank of perfume. It's all about the hair too. You've gotta.
I like that.
You've gotta
You're going for the specifics on this one.
Look, all these crummy kids right now, when you were in high school, really look like you did not take a bath. I remember seeing myself in high school and looking at some of the kids now. Practically the same. It looks like you just woke up, wore your uniform, sabunan, and then bulad sa downy, and then you're good to go. Yeah. So I would tell Baby B, look, man, it's a proper fade, a proper look. Mm-hmm. Get your hair right. Get your hair done every single day. Brush your teeth. Just, don't try to be too talkative. Be quiet enough to grant attention. Read a lot. Try to read a lot, because that's going to help along the way with projects and stuff. And you're going to be both helpful and reasonably smart. Yeah. And that raises your attractive points.
Yeah.
And clothes maketh a man. You've got to wear really nice, I would say nondescript. Don't try to be flashy, gaudy. Don't try to come out like, a poor man's Justin Bieber. Just be really nice, neat, attractive. Watch what you eat, because you don't want to be fat. Because it's even until now when you're in high school and you're quite
chubby,
they don't, you're probably going to be told that you're chubby, because they're not tall enough to see your head. They just probably see who you are for who.
High school kids are one of the meanest people on
earth. Because there's nothing else really to judge you on.
Yeah.
No one knows if you have a car. No one knows which house you live in, which village you stay on. What's your job? Do you have 15 kids? Do you have none? Do you have 5 women? Do you have 5 wives? No, you're fat. Now, this is why you get judged, because of your appearance. So that's the first thing I'd change. If there was one thing I'd direct and impose to Baby B, appearance.
All right.
Appearance.
All right, cool.
I'll start with that.
You'll start with that.
Your turn.
So I would say, follow Tito Mike. I would
follow Tito Mike.
follow Tito Mike on the appearance side, because I agree. I 100% agree. Now I realize that we didn't care for anything regarding our looks or
no shit, Sherlock.
or even we fail sometimes at personal hygiene. And that was gross.
It's gross.
So yeah, follow Tito Mike on the appearance and the personal care one. You don't have to go overboard, but enough to be decent.
To be decent and noticed.
Yeah.
Gwapong mabango.
Gwapong mabango. Yeah. Because that increase not really increases, but that gives you the basic stock. Enough clout.
Can you imagine him walking in the high school corridors wearing really nice, good pressed, a little bit fit, and good a little fit. Bit, good fit chinos, like really nice chinos, a baby blue shirt, like probably a nice shirt that's a little crumpled in the arms, and hair that's just immaculately, layered, and then no smile at all, probably works out a little bit, probably is into sports, and probably look, I would not try to bring my parents with me when I'm in school, because people judge you. Why are your parents doing here? Appearance. At the same time, try to find, I guess not try to fit in, but try to find a decent place where you can hang out, where you can be noticed, because you're probably not going to be in a clique anyway. He probably would at some. I mean, we don't know. With the tips we're giving him, he's probably gonna date the most popular girl in town, and he's probably gonna. On second year high school, he's probably gonna be unavailable right off the bat. First quarter exams.
Maybe. I mean, he's a good-looking kid. I mean, judging from,
So
pabor. He's
got the genes. He's a good-looking kid.
He's a good-looking kid. Now, I would say, in addition to being decent enough and taking care of yourself, read a lot. The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are in whatever scenarios. Reading helps you navigate interesting conversations.
Mm-hmm.
The more topics that you can bring to the table, the better you are in not only sounding smart, but delivering value.
And doing, carrying out the dialogue.
Yeah.
Don't be annoying though.
Fine.
Don't be annoying at all, because that will backfire really fast.
Yeah, that's true. Another thing is, in terms of sports or whatever interests you, find one. Explore as much as you can, as fast as you can.
What do you mean explore?
So whether you're into different sports, try them out.
What you're passionate about. Yeah.
Whether you're into music, find out what instrument or what type of art that you're into.
Yeah, nice.
And once you've found something that makes your heart beat, stick to that and double down on that. Because I found it later in life that if one of your aim is to enjoy high school, is that once you're good at something, you'll enjoy that anyways. Yeah. And another thing is, I know not all women, but most of girls and women find passionate people attractive.
Yeah.
So that's my second one. So first one, read. Second one, double down on something that interests you. And last but not the least, just, I know this is the most cliche, but most often forgotten trick is to just be yourself. High school is one of those places where it's very tempting to be someone who you're not.
Agreed.
To whether that be for the purpose of being in a group, or to be liked by someone, or to be liked by a group of people.
To get approval when you're seeking approval.
Yes, exactly. But not being yourself is the hardest thing to do, and the thing that you'll regret in life if you're not being true to yourself.
Absolutely.
And again, when it comes to dating, the more true to yourself, the less sus you are. Yeah, exactly.
No, I agree with you.
I mean, especially this generation, they can see through the bullshit. That
they can see through. There's so much fact checking that they can do, and they call it receipts. Like, man, show them some receipts. Like, show us facts.
Good thing we didn't have receipts back then.
No receipts, man. No receipts.
Else we'd be fucked.
It's like we'd totally be effed.
Yeah.
Look, there's probably a couple of tips also that's gonna take this guy to another level. Baby B would go, like, she'll go shebang real quickly, like 1 to 100 in like 3 seconds. If he knows how to dance, can I said?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've always.
High school?
Yeah. It's Dude, one of those things.
I knew how to dance in high school. I never got the girls.
But were you dancing in a group or were you dancing crazy alone?
No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I know you can dance. I mean, I know a friend who can dance, like one of your friends who likes to wiggle like a worm. But, you know, he didn't really get much of the girls, but he was just so impressed of his dancing and tried to, I don't know, I felt it was so awkward. That one, and like what you said, pick an instrument and know how to be romantic. Be funny. Be funny.
Yeah, but it's difficult for him. It's difficult to instruct funny.
That's true.
Because that comes in with the personality.
Be funny. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Okay, fine. Forget.
Yeah.
Don't be funny.
I mean, if you're, to me, humor and comedy comes from really, really smart people.
I agree. There's like humor in every in every context or situation. A smart person can find humor.
Yeah. I mean, if you can inject humor in anything, and if you can, because humor takes a lot of sophisticated art, the timing, the delivery, the context. I mean, it's a whole monster in itself.
Especially the timing.
Especially the timing. So, I think it would come natural out of him if he's smart enough, and you know, I hope dili po siya ingon nga bastos nga comedian.
Nga takles kayo
nga maka-insulto. But yeah, I if I were to pick one among the tips and advice we will be giving him is the, you know, just be yourself.
I think we're gonna be really great titas. Yeah.
I'll probably give him money for cine and snacks.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna
You're probably gonna teach him
that
instrument.
Yeah, probably an instrument. Or probably probably prepare a list of like who to date, like what
would
kind
you want
of
him to date the popular girl?
If he can handle the heat, yes. I mean,
yeah, that's a very
he
good
probably
point.
built him up. I mean, why go for we literally baked this kid. Like we made this kid out of nothing. Like, hey baby, we made you, man. Be grateful. You come on, give us some cred. And we're not gonna tell him nagapangwinta ta, but he's, you know, we've got to a point wherein we can watch what we've created together and was like, yeah, that's baby B.
As much as
if you have a name like that, you gotta live to it. You know?
As much as possible, I would, but I can't advise him not to date the popular girl. I would just tell him, based on experience, dude, it's tough.
It's it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be all or nothing, and you're gonna take a lot of heat.
It's tough. I would say that, and I've been there.
Awayan ka sa mga one girls, kung si NB ka, birahan ka sa mga mamirahay.
Yeah. And especially if you're...
That's what it is. I mean, no one gave us the operating manual. We didn't have any checklist navigating high school, but we kind of came out normal at some point.
Yeah, or at least by our standards, we are normies.
Yeah, we're normies. We're
all right. Cool. So, Bray, I'm gonna give ikaw na.
Finally, we were able to shorten it to
definitely
an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, but it's really? Is it an hour and 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. We just went beyond. Anyways, so that's episode 8. Thanks.
We'll have to cut a lot of the laughing parts. So this will be a very serious podcast and blame it on Brian.
Nawa, di na nino ko kabalo sa Thanks a lot, guys, for staying with us on this episode. We're trying to how do I say this?
Mangimbitar ta. Look, this is our chance nga mangimbitar ta og kung kinsay gusto mo kuyog na mo ani nga hugyaw, because we're really trying to see if we can get somebody nga maka-storya na mo, maka-share sa among joy, maka-share sa among nostalgia.
Ang akong gusto gid is to have someone who can share their stories and who can validate some of the memories we've been talking about.
Kanang kung asa ta tinuod, kung asa katamala, ba?
Kung nami dani sa gym atong kuan asa ka adto.
Kung katong gipang bully gikimig mayo asa ka ato, asa ka natulala atong time. Share your story with us.
So
episode 8 is in the books.
You end it because my mind is kakablanko kung noon na ano.
Si Brian ang ginabutang compressor ba?
Exactly. Compressor limiter ba?
Tayo ta.
Christmas parties, by the way. Christmas parties are coming out.
Yeah.
Well, not coming out. No, what is happening to me? Seriously.
This is the week we're in, mga Christmas parties are getting planned, and they're, so all those, we're planning, one for our own also, which is kind of cool. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, so what is it? We'll be having a couple more before the end of the year.
For sure. A couple more, probably with a few surprise guests. So stick around. We'll try to make it not as random as possible, but it will be there. We're trying to reach, the main goal is try to reach as many folks to validate and engage.
Yeah.
And hopefully, kung nalang gintay makakuyog na mo, makastorya na mo, which would be really, really cool.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So this has been your host, Dave Fuentes. Thanks again for staying with us on this episode.
Yes. And the Baby B creator, future director, Mike Rodriguez. And this has been episode 8 for the Foodhaus podcast. Thanks, guys.
See you on the next one.